With an increasing number of school shootings across the country, school boards and administrators are struggling with how to prepare for the worst-case scenarios. As John Ferrugia from Rocky Mountain PBS in Denver reports, Colorado has become a center for developing school safety protocols that have been adopted in many districts throughout the U.S.
Walking the halls of Platte Canyon High School in Bailey, Colorado is always bittersweet for John Michael Keyes. It is here he lost his daughter. In 2006, a lone gunman, a stranger, got into the school and took students hostage in a classroom. All got out but one, Emily Keyes, and she sent this last text message to her parents.
You know, Emily gave us a voice, and she also told us what to say. I love you guys.
It is from here that an idea emerged, a plan to save the lives of others.
I realized that there wasn't a common language and common expectations of what to do in a crisis around the country with our schools. And we found a handful of districts in the country that were using some very specific language in their crisis response, and we packaged it and relabeled it and called it the Standard Response Protocol.
The I Love You Guys Foundation, started by John Michael and Ellen Keyes, trains hundreds of teachers, administrators, organizations, and agencies every year to expand the reach and scope of the program.
We took lockout, lockdown, evacuate, and we added shelter. And those are the 4 actions of the Standard Response Protocol.
We found the Standard Response Protocol in 2009. It changed our lives. And
that was John Michael Keyes.
That was John Michael Keyes, the I Love You Guys Foundations.
John McDonald heads security at the Jefferson County School District. This is the district of Columbine High School, where in 1999, 2 students killed 12 fellow students and a teacher before killing themselves. McDonald and his team, working closely with local law enforcement, are focused on keeping kids safe in schools. He oversees the Frank DeAngelis Center, which was once an elementary school. It is named for the former Columbine High School principal, Frank DeAngelis, who now speaks across the country about the lessons learned from Columbine.
This thing is ballistic protection.
At this training center, school districts and law enforcement agencies from across the country can train for the worst.
In the past year, we've had over 60 agencies, more than 6,000 police officers, sheriff's deputies, state and federal agents training in here, preparing for that given day.
The goal is making sure a responding officer, even if working alone, understands the tactics that can help stop a shooter who gets into a school.
32, I got one party down, no movement in room number 1.
This is a state-of-the-art, computer-controlled, virtual reality shooter training.
Gun!
Officers can be run through hundreds of scenarios involving a gunman in one room or in several rooms.
It really provides our professionals the ability to go into an environment and train just like they would have to respond, using multiple rooms, noise.
But this is just one part of the school safety equation. Another component is how schools immediately respond before law enforcement arrives.
Get everybody inside, we're going to lock those outside doors.
That brought John Michael Keyes, with program in hand, to Jefferson County.
Came to me, sat down in our office here, and I said, how much? He said, I'm not going to charge you anything. I just want you to try it. Call him back the next day. I said, I don't believe in testing it. We're going to implement it. We started training on the Standard Response Protocol in all of our schools, and it was battle tested that year. In February of 2010, 3 weeks before Deer Creek Middle School shooting, we first went into that school and trained and talked to the teachers and the administrators about what they'd see, what it'd feel like, what they needed to think about.
There he is.
On that day, a mentally ill man shot and wounded 2 students outside Deer Creek Middle School before being tackled by a teacher and subdued.
I support this program and have for many years.
And that is why John McDonald is often right alongside Keyes, helping to train the Standard Response Protocol.
I believe it to be the fundamental program that we base all school safety on here in this district and so many districts across the state of Colorado, and now across the country and Canada.
The I Love You Guys Foundation has mapped where school districts are now using the Standard Response Protocol, and the list continues to grow. But despite their efforts, John McDonald says there are still huge gaps in school safety training across the country.
There are no national standards, there's no state standards, there's no local standards other than what we decide and determine, and that's a struggle. Frankly, That worries me a lot.
For Jefferson County and many other school districts, student and staff training and law enforcement response are just two components of a comprehensive safety plan. Columbine also changed school access and school surveillance.
And you have to be on a video intercom to get into a school today.
McDonald is committed to making sure they never let a gunman near or in a school.
Video camera, robust surveillance systems that track people's movement, panic alarms inside schools that automatically connect with our emergency dispatch center here, and we are on the same radio system that all of our first responders are.
And while he would not reveal the capabilities of the high-tech, high-definition surveillance system, he did demonstrate the lower resolution optics.
If there's a critical incident in the school and we're locked down, our dispatchers can open the door the moment they see law enforcement pull up on scene.
Remotely from here.
Remotely, and that's a big deal.
And he says these are safety measures for all district schools. But for Columbine High School, there are even more unique security elements that can't be discussed.
For so many, it is a place of hope and inspiration. A lot of victims come here, but so too do a lot of people who are inspired by the killers. And that's been the biggest challenge for us.
How many people have tried to get in the school?
We're averaging about 198 a month.
A month.
A month.
198 people a month are trying to get into school.
Yeah.
And what do you do? I mean, you have people there, obviously. all the
We
time.
stop them. We engage outside the building, not inside. I'm not giving them the opportunity to get in.
And McDonald says, unlike in 1999, when there were unheeded warnings about the killers being violent in their writings and conversations, today, if there are threats, whether spoken, written, or on social media, his team will react quickly.
Look, if you say you're going to kill us, you say you're going to blow us up, I believe you. And we're going to send law enforcement to your house, and we're going to try to get consent to search your room from your parents. And we're going to try to bring your parents in on this and make them a partner with us, because we're not going to allow this to happen. We're going to make sure that in our environment, you and everyone else around you is safe and secure.
That is the message from a school district that has experienced mass murder. And it's a message officials here hope other districts across the country will take to heart to prevent yet another school shooting. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm John Ferrugia in Denver.